can't legally and lawfully treat them in your business, in your salon, despite the fact that you still have to pay all of your business taxes and jump through all the government hoops. Those rules apparently don't apply to Nancy Pelosi. What is your response to that?
Okay, well, in actuality, it's sort of a good thing that this happened because obviously Nancy Pelosi, an 80-year-old woman, felt safe going into a hair salon to get her hair done, which shows that we are safe to open. The CDC has actually given us guidelines, and we are willing to follow them. We were open. I own a skincare salon. We were only open for 3 weeks. The hair salons have been open for 6. Okay, and so if in fact Nancy Pelosi feels safe walking into a hair salon, now the fact that she wasn't wearing a mask is another story, because I will tell you that I have never been in a hair or a skincare salon in our opening time that someone didn't have a mask on. So that's another situation. But it shows that we are ready and prepared to open, and it's time for the salons throughout the state, because there are 621,000, that's over 500,000 people that have not been able to go to work for almost 6 months. And there's 53,000 beauty licensed establishments that have been closed. And the fact that they say we can work outside where there's inadequate sanitation, you've got manicurists sitting on cardboard in the heat, breaking OSHA guidelines. Okay, this is not, and skincare people can't work at all outside because you have to have a mask on, both people, when you're working. So we're very upset about this. And when you think about it, dentists who are, giving teeth cleaning to their clients are in a much more vulnerable position than us, even as facialists, because people were wearing a mask and a shield, and people are laying there not talking. So we're set up like dentist's office, and we follow all the CDC guidelines.
What do you make of Nancy Pelosi throwing the salon under the bus, saying that they told her it was legal, so it's their fault?
Well, I think that it's her responsibility to understand that, to begin with, I guess Governor Newsom gave a very confusing message last week, because if you went onto the chat lines, nobody knew if we were open or not open. And I felt like it was her responsibility to know this, because she needs to realize that not only in San Francisco, but throughout the state, we need to be open. So I don't understand why she didn't know this. All she had to do was go to the actual website that they told people to go to, and it showed closed on the day that she was there. So, again, I mean, yes, I'm upset about Pelosi. I think that in our industry, we have both Republicans, Democrats. We're an industry of dominantly women, immigrants, LGBT members, people of color. And so it at some point, it gets beyond being political, and it's just about us being able to go to work, and the fact that she should be aware that not everybody is open, and that particular day she went in there, had her hair done, didn't wear a mask, and obviously didn't go to the point of finding out the details of what's going on in the state.
Should someone in the Sacramento press corps ask Warden Newsom about this, considering she is, after all, his congresswoman and political mentor?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, at this point, I've been working, and many of us have been working with Fred Jones from the Professional Beauty Federation of California. He is the lawyer that sued Newsom to begin with, okay? And I tell everybody in our industry to join. You can find them on Facebook, Professional Beauty Federation of California, because he has worked to be our only legislative voice in the state of California. We are not an industry that has had legislation or representation in Sacramento, aside from the State Board of Cosmetology, and they've informed us that they don't worry about us. They're more concerned about the consumer. So we've had no representation. So the fact that the county health department, that has not even worked with our industry since 1927, is laying out the laws as to having us open is ridiculous. And I think that Nancy Pelosi and Governor Newsom need to have a big conversation about the fact that there's over 621,000 people not able to pay their rents and are losing their homes. I just saw Governor Newsom on TV right now talk about homelessness. If he allowed over 500,000 people to go back to work, that would be a lot less people he would have to worry about giving money to pay rent, and also people ending up losing their life worth, of savings and investments.
If Warden Newsom was listening to this conversation right now and you could have one thing for him to take away, what would that be?
Salons are safe to be open. We have been following every CDC created guideline. In fact, in the state of in Springfield, Missouri, there were 139 clients that were exposed to 2 hairstylists that had gotten had COVID. Okay, the CDC followed all these people, and not one of those people ended up with the coronavirus. So what Governor Newsom needs to realize is that everyone in our industry, whether it be electrologists, manicurists, facialists, hairdressers, masseuse, we are all willing to follow the CDC guidelines, and we are safe to open. We have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the other thing. They opened us for a short time of opening, and we invested hundreds of thousands of dollars according to their recommendations, and then they turned around and shut us down. So he needs to realize that we're not just playing over here, that we consider ourselves part of the health industry. In the skincare industry, you're dealing with people who have acne. You're dealing with people that are scarring their skins. Acne is considered a skin disease, okay? You've got medi-spas open where they're doing injectables, Botox, lip injections, and facials, and just because there's a medical sign on the door, they're doing the same exact thing that we're doing. So this is all confused in a very, it's very confusing, and they're not taking us seriously. They are not taking our industry seriously, and we're losing everything.
It seems like there are certain industries that are just being punished for no good reason. The first exposure that California had to the virus was from that Princess cruise ship that docked in Oakland. Now, that doesn't mean that you're more likely to get it on a casino on a cruise ship than a casino in Las Vegas or an Indian casino or a spa on a cruise ship as opposed to a spa at a hotel on land or a restaurant, whatever. But for whatever reason, the cruise ship industry has been blamed, and they might be blamed to the point where they're all forced into bankruptcy. In California, Warden Newsom initially blamed the nail salons for the virus, providing no evidence that they were the ones that were spreading it, that they were the ones that started it. But he put that out there, and it just stuck in people's minds. And these politicians, and Newsom in particular, they have to understand the power that their words have and the damage that they cause to industries. And that when they speak publicly with no facts, they hurt real people and real businesses, and it takes a long time to undo that damage.
Well, yeah, and especially when you think of the nail industry, when you've got, it's dominated by the Vietnamese immigrants, and they were just in absolute uproar, as well as all of us were, for him to make a statement like that with absolutely no fact, and to basically shame and cast these women to the side as if their professions were the ones causing COVID, which was absolutely not factual. And so I'm not sure why he's picking on our industry, and that's how we all feel. And the interesting thing is all the other states across the United States are working with hairdressers and people in the cosmetology industry. And at this point, if you went on the chat boards for all the cosmetician sites, the estheticians, they're all finding out where they can be licensed. They're ready to leave California. So this is clearly a California issue, okay? And it needs to be addressed. And it has to do with a lack of knowledge and information about what we do, the thousands of hours that we have spent into preparing our salons, as well as the education that we get in sanitation. I was wearing a mask as an esthetician for the last 10 years. Many nail techs have been wearing masks for years. We just upped it more in terms of all the sanitation procedures, plexiglass, et cetera. We're willing to do anything that it takes. This is not really a political issue, because when you think about it, you've got people on both sides of the aisle saying that they are just sickened by the fact that they have put us into a category that is below at this point, even below gyms. Okay, it's ridiculous because I hear gyms are opening now, and there are also places where they can do lap dances and strip bars are open, but we can't be open.
So what do you think the solution is? Should we continue to try to work with him to open everything up? Should we go around him and maybe do it at the local level? Do we need to recall him? Should we start getting behind someone to run against him next time around? What should we do?
Well, at this point, we need to open up as soon as possible. We can't wait. I mean, whether recall comes through or not, and some people will be for that and others won't. But as far as I'm concerned, we need to address the fact that it's time to open our industry. If they want to, let's say, have the health departments check on salons and make sure that everything is up to par, that makes the most sense in our industry, as opposed to waiting, because this could go into 2021. There won't be any salons left. And the reality is that all the hairdressers and manicurists are going to people's houses, and he's actually putting all these people at risk of COVID, because when you come into a salon, you have everything, the temperature checks, everything is sanitized. You don't know when you go into a person's house what you're facing. You don't know who's been there. You don't know if it's possible that there have been people there with COVID, that things have not been sanitized properly. So he's actually putting everyone at risk in our industry, because people are going, and everyone knows, they're getting their hair, they're getting their nails done. And I'm sure Nancy Pelosi had people coming to her house before she went to the salon, because people are going to do the services. So open up, let us do it safely, get the health department out to places to double check and make sure that we're doing everything as planned. In the meantime, as far as the legislation, getting Newsom out, somebody that supports business, sure, I mean, that's an option, but that's going to take time. We need to open up like tomorrow.
Joyce Marie Partisse, go ahead and give your salon a plug in Beverly Hills so people know how to get a hold of you when and if the warden opens up.
Thank you. Joyce Marie at Beverly Hills, 414 North Camden Drive in Beverly Hills, California, 310-275-6694. I've been in business for 43 years and have excellent reviews. And I'm proud to say that I am the 436th esthetician licensed in the state of California, and representing all of the people in our industry that I have a lot of respect for. We've worked very hard for.
All right. Joyce Marie, thanks so much for your time, and we're all pulling for you.
Thank you, John. Bye-bye.
All right. 800-222-KABC is the number, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go ahead and take a look at the roads.
KABC dependable traffic right now. We've got some tire debris scattered across the fast and the lane next to the fast lane on the 101 South at Balboa Boulevard. We've got slowing on the 405 North at National Boulevard. We've got a car fishtailing in the carpool lane that's causing some delays there. Stop and go traffic in Hollywood on the 101 southbound between Vermont Avenue and Echo Park Avenue. Caltrans doing some work in Pasadena on the 110 southbound between Glen Arm Street and Fair Oaks Avenue. They have the right lane shut down for about another hour and a half. Traffic is backed up to Del Mar Boulevard. That's dependable traffic. I'm Sharon Reardon, AM 790